So I was browsing the internet the other day and I found this. Insert clip here. That is what's the best way to describe it? Leather teddy bear? Yeah. And I thought, that's a really neat idea. But, like, who could I make that for? Why do I need to make that? I don't know why I always end up in the kitchen. Yeah, who can I make that for? And then I remembered, got a 10-month-old, 11-month-old crawling around at home. So, yeah, let's make her a leather teddy bear. That's terrible lighting, but we'll go with it. So yeah, update. It's been a week since my daughter's birthday now, so fucked up on the timing of making the bear, but still going to do it because we're doing this. So the mic's over here now. The mic needs to be here. Yeah, we're still doing this because we're gonna do it, and you know, she's not gonna realise. I need to stop moving the mic away from my mouth. Let's get on with this. I have spared us the time. I've cut out the leather. I've already chose leather, and I've cut out the templates. So basically, the plan is get these cut out and start whacking it together. So we got 2 big bits, and then lots. I don't think this actually says how many times it should be cut out. I need to update the template. This template I am probably going to put up for sale on the store. Really, really, really cheap, like 50p a quid. It's a really basic template. It's nothing special, but it saves you having to draw your own. Do I go straight to cutting or do I scratch all it around? It's literally analysis paralysis. Let's do this. Also, this is going to move at some point, isn't it? And completely, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's going to be chewed on by a 1-year-old. Likely chewed on by a 1-year-old. Is Vegtan okay for a 1-year-old? Who knows? She has already taken a liking to my wallet, so, you know. I reckon that's the outside, so we want to go boop, 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 mouth. I've not really decided how we're doing the mouth yet, and I want to just... Before the battery just so rudely died, I was just saying I want to roughly scratch out the belly. So, that has given us vaguely what we need. So this bit just needs to be really like scratched up because obviously that's where we're going to glue the belly on. That's fine. So I just need to go around the outside, do the other one, and then cut them out. I'll just scratch all around this, which should be that way around, but it doesn't matter, they're the same. The arms and belly and ears as well. And then we'll come back when it's all scratched or cut out. One of the two. We'll find out in about now. Bear. Okay, maybe not quite a bear, but all the bits of a bear, technically. So yeah, cut out all the bits. So we've got the belly, we've got arms, which I've now just mixed up. Back of an arm, and we got ears, and I've punched the eyes out. They will become rivets, I think is the plan. Nose, I'm not really sure. Do I cut out a little piece of, like, just scrap and stitch it on? Little cross stitch? That might look quite nice. And then I was just going to do stitching for the mouth. That was the idea. So, yeah, that was kind of it. I think so I was going to put the logo in the center of the belly, but it feels, the logo's over here, a little 3D printed stamp. I don't know, it feels a bit in your face? Or does it go on like just the, like, do I tramp stamp the bear? Tramp stamp the bear with my logo. I kind of like the idea of it having a tramp stamp, which is my logo. Is that ridiculous? I think that's a bit ridiculous, but it kind of makes me chuckle, the idea of being tramp stamped. I think I'm going to tramp stamp the bear. Okay, so we probably want to tramp stamp, I'm just going to refer to that now, tramp stamp it now. So I need to dampen this area so the stamp goes in, and then I will use my arbor press. Right, so the office is in like a office, workshop, whatever you want to call it, is in a really like state of disarray at the moment. So this is like the most awkward floor angle I can get. So it's now got a wet bottom. So we put that there, and then tramp stamp there. Is that lined up? That is perfectly lined up. Question is it actually perfectly lined up on the leather? Who knows? It could be slightly wonky, but that's part of the fun of it, isn't it? Right, are we ready? Let's just go for it. Alonzi, or Geronimo, or whatever Doctor Who reference you want to vaguely make. I don't know how long I should really hold this down for. Really quite hard. Okay, let's go with that. I'll have a sneak peek. Tramp stamped. It's not really focusing. Come on, focus. Tramp stamp. Let's go back to the desk. Right, so we have successfully stamped on a tramp. That now needs to obviously dry, so that's going to take a while. Well, that's drying. So I was planning on filling all of this with like wadding and actually like puffing it out. I think the arms are too small to do that. Little like corner out of them so they can be a bit more three-dimensional. Oh, that's off the camera. Then we can be a little bit more three-dimensional. So if I take like a little like V-cut out of them when I stick them in, they can have a nice bit of, I don't know, dimensionality. Is that a word? And then the belly, I just need to go around with a edge beveler and just burnish it vaguely and then stick it on. And I could probably put the eyes in as well. Alright, that sounds like a plan of attack. Should we tackle the ears really quickly first? So if I literally just like notch them out, then when you pull that together, yeah, that gives you like a nice three-dimensionality. They're both going to be different because, you know, ears are different. Cool. So those can then be stuck. So they can be edge beveled, burnished as well. That needs to be edge beveled and burnished. They need to be glued, edge beveled, sanded. That is all the wrong order. They need to be glued, sanded, edge beveled, burnished. Thanks, brain. Need to get a better applicator for it, especially when it doesn't want to come out. There we go. So basically you put this on. This is going to be a bit rough, but these are going to get stitched as well. So it's not as big of a deal, but you put it on both sides, and me being left-handed gives this terrible angle for the camera. But you basically do that and then leave them to dry. Kind of wondering if I can contact cement the ears, like the little V that I've just cut out to make them a bit easier to stick in. See, so we let all that dry, we can come back. Right, that glue has dried. So if we just, so I've just done it roughly obviously, but if we just take these and then vaguely line them up. They're going to need some, like I said, sanding, and yeah, they're very rough. But you get like a little arm. If we ignore the tramp stamp, yeah, little arm. I think with the rest of it padded out, that should look okay. I think that was the best way of doing it. I'm not sure trying to pad out something this tiny would have hugely worked anyway. But there we go, we got two arms. Let's see if we can get these ears to go. If I do that, that's a really bad shot, but trust me, yeah, that's vaguely worked. So it's not holding perfectly, but it's holding enough to like give that like an amount of three-dimensionality. And obviously when it's then stitched into the actual just take myself out, the actual body, that should work quite nicely. I should have taken a bit out the very tip to like flatten that out nicely, but it doesn't matter, it works. And like that, yeah, that's quite cute. And obviously, yeah, you glue that in and it will, and then we'll stitch around the edge. That'll look quite nice, I think. Cool. So we need to now sand, bevel, burnish. And then we can start vaguely thinking about, oh, and put the eyes in. I'll go find some rivets now. And then we can start thinking about assembly. Right, let's bring this puppy home. We're not going to finish it, but we'll get to a point where we're almost done. I've just trimmed down the edges of these and sanded them slightly. I thought I'd just whack the eyes in quick whilst I was thinking about it, because I've got the tools here. Apart from I haven't got a hammer, I've now got a hammer, 3D printed end, which I've completely mauled up. I think that looks vaguely cute. Why not? We'll go with it. So pop that onto the back. These aren't going to set very well because this is only one layer. But we're going to work with what we've got. Also, as long as they're just locked on. Oh, actually, they've locked in really quite well. Okay, we've got eyes. We need to whack on the nose once we've burnished that. The Tramp Stamp has come out nicely, so Tramp Stamp. These are wildly, well, not wildly different sizes, but like they're going to take a bit of trimming, but we knew that. I think that's going to look really nice. So I've already scraped up the back of this. Ooh, that is flowing better. And get it on there. Again, doesn't need to be absolutely perfect. I might actually aim for the edges a bit more because now it's stuck to my finger. I've stuck it to my finger. There we go. We'll just put a bit in the center there. I've stuck it to my finger again. There we go. Cool. So we wait for that to dry so we can stick all that on. Yeah, here's I think we want to burnish. You know, I'm just gonna reflatten them because it's gonna be easier to do this when they're flat. Give that a... I need some new edge bevelers. Right, so they're beveled. Hands, arms, hands. What are these? They're practically mittens. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that has gone a bit weird. I can't get on the edge of that. There we go. Oh, that's horrible. But it's fine. It's a hand, it's an arm, it's a whatever you want to call it. Appendage beveling, done. So now we just got to go around and like tokenol everything. So, sorry. I know if we'll get that on the camera because it doesn't want to focus. Hello. There we go. We can't, yeah, there's... It's smooth, okay? It's smooth. Yeah. Nope. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it's nice. So, need to do that on all of them, and then we can think about kind of placements. Obviously the nose is gonna, yeah. But, yeah, just work around, and that's coming out nicely. I'll try and get some macro shots after, at the end, because it's too much effort right here, right now, but... No, okay, there we go. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, so I've got to do that on all those pieces, and then we will look at gluing them in, I guess. Right, the glue's dry. Let's get some of this stuck together. So I think we're safe to put this bit on, and the nose, and I think the ears, which I have here. Tramp Stamp's dried. I've skived down the edge of the arms so they stick in a bit flatter. I need to go and punch these and stitch them separately before gluing them in. I think that's the best way around to do it. Yeah, so if let's just whack this on. Vaguely centered. There we go. We've got a belly. We've got the beginnings of a bear. There we go. And then the nose, which is roughly just wedge that on there. So, okay. We've got the beginnings of something. So these ears, let's get this glue going again. So if we glue along this suede edges. So on the back, this is going to be the interesting bit. I think, like, if we just put a bead of glue kind of there, and one there, kind of eyeballing that a little bit. Whilst that's drying, we might as well put the stitch lines on these. Yeah, that's the right way around. So we're gonna just whack a stitch line around there. And the question is, okay, so I might start the stitch off of, yeah, so if we do, I'm just going to tap it lightly to start with to get just the vague impressions of where we want the stitches, and then follow it round. because I broke all my other stitching prongs. Ugh, need to buy some more of these as well. And there, that fits around there perfectly. So I think, yeah, if we do that for both hands / arms, whatever the hell they are, stitch them, and then stick the ears on. Then we can stick these on once they're stitching. I think stitching wise, slightly lighter, but like there's quite a lot of that. I'd probably get away with that one. I think if we went darker, that matches quite nicely. Part of me quite likes the lighter, slightly more contrasting stitch. Otherwise we've got this one which isn't opened. It's a bit more grey though. Should we go contrast? I think that'll look good. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay. I think I've got enough of that one, so that should be okay. Yeah, that looks dry. So if we... So we're going to put one side of it on first and kind of press it down to attach it. Cool. Put this other side over. But then we need to like fold it as we're pushing down. Hey. Our bear's got it slightly higher up than maybe I wanted it. Can we see the glue line? We can if we just push it in a bit. There we go. Should we get the other one on there quick? Hey. That's starting to come together quite nicely. We've got a bear with ears. Kind of questioning whether it actually needs the mouth. We'll see when we get to it. If we have... It's starting to look like a bear. So stitching around... Oh, I can punch those stitching holes as well, actually, can't I? That one. Yeah. That's stitched on. These stitched up. That looks like a bear. This might actually come out quite nicely. So we've got... So I've stitched all the... both arms, hands, whatever you want to call them. Focusing at the moment is dreadful. Hello. Nope, okay. I have stitched them. Tramp Stamp's dried. Stitched on the little belly bit, eyes, and the nose. What is going on with like the focus? Never mind. So yeah, we're I think ready to start gluing. So the edges on these are a bit. I might go just give them a. So let's get those arms stuck on. I've also skived down the edges of the arms so they're thinner. So on here I've got like a dotted line of like vaguely where I imagine the arms sticking on, but it feels quite high. Let's kind of visualize it. It's like, I think I've got them on like there-ish. Like, I guess proportions wise that works. Oop, there was something stuck to the bottom of that. I've got no idea what it was. So, based on this, see that I'm going to update that because that feels just a little bit high. Eyeballing the entire bear. Arms go downwards, which, yeah, again, maybe it's a choice. It is a choice. So let's glue the edge of that as well. So if we let that dry, we can then stick the arms onto that side. We can then start gluing the back onto the front. Now I say start because I'm only going to do like the legs kind of up to maybe the bottom of the arms to start with, so I can then attempt to push in some form of stuffing, which I don't have. I was kind of thinking of just stealing some cotton wool from the baby's room because we've got tons of it and some of it we don't like. That's the idea. Let's stick these on. Just gonna eyeball them really. Which way do I want to do this round? Issue is I can't really see from the front, but I need to make sure that edge is also covered. Go with that. And then the same one. So they're going to be slightly odd, different locations. It's fine, I think. It's kind of nice. So I think we want to get these are just going to be, yeah, they're all, it's not perfect, like I said. I think I want to get the legs done and then I can squish some cotton wool in between it and then basically work my way up. I think working legs up works better than head down. Yeah, I think so. Right, let's get some glue on these seams. This would be the typical point to run out of glue, wouldn't it? So if we do up to like the bottom of the arms, and then we've got no idea where that imaginary bottom of the arm line is on this one. Cool, so if we leave those two bits to dry, and then we can try sticking them together in a minute. Right, that's dry. Let's try and stick these together. Probably should have gone up to the, yeah, it's fine. I'm not really sure where to start with this. Let's just try and put one together to start with. Okay, that feels like it's worked. And put the other together. I reckon we can squeeze these as well to try and, because actually we can use the misshapenness as an advantage slightly to give us some of that three-dimensionality pre-stuffing. Cool, so that's stuck. There's a few bits that need trimming, like in. Cool. Yeah, it's got a bit of a wibble wobble to it. Stitching line, stitching line, stitching line. So this middle one, we've got to about there. We kind of like use this as a compass and kind of, there we go. And give this a pretty good stitching line around the outside. And I probably want to punch that before stuffing because again it's going to wibbly wobbly it all over the place. I kind of want to start the stitching. That looks uncomfortable. I apologise for this in advance. Right, there's our first stitching hole. works. We have one there, 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 there. So basically I'm just going to work my way round. I just remembered we forgot the mouth. There's meant to be like a little smile on the picture. So I'm just going to try and like mark out. So I think if we go 3 down, so basically yeah, I'm going to stitch in like a little smile. Do you reckon that's big enough? Just a cute little smile. Doesn't need to be huge. Do you want to go out one more? I think that'd be too big. I think just that little, just, yeah. It's just enough to be like, look, there is a face there. So I can get that stitched in as well. See, it just adds that little bit of just, yes, there's an actual like bare face. I think that should be pretty simple to stitch in. I can do that really quickly off camera. And I've just punched the legs, which I think I'm going to stitch first as well. It feels like it kind of makes sense to stitch it so it's really held together before then stuffing it. Because I think the glue probably won't hold enough. So yeah, let's get on with some stitching. Right, okay, so legs are stitched. It's actually quite neat. I've stretched it out as well a little bit. And then I've gone and collected this. So basically we're just going to tear off some chunks of this and try and stuff it into it. So like, it might have to be smaller than that. This could take a minute. And that's on the floor already. And I'm going to end up with cotton wool all over the office / workshop / studio. Whoop, and I'm going to nudge the camera a bit. See, and that's got like a nice, oh yeah, that's quite firm. Nice 3-dimensionality. Is that a word? That feels like a big word. So we need like little bits, because little bits apparently stuff in easier. Do the legs now on camera. And then I'm going to go off. That needs to be split in half. I think. So you can kind of see it's stuffed inside. They're pretty firm. They're kind of the same shape. I think that's our legs stuffed. They're pretty firm if you feel them from the outside. They're 3-dimensional, which is nice. They've just got that just enough 3-dimensionality to look really nice. Backside, we haven't got a proper backside yet. Try and get some junk in that trunk. This is coming out really nicely. It's really, really cute. Once I've got it padded out, I will get the edges sanded and burnished. Right, real quick update before I just go have some lunch. The body is now stuffed. So I need to make some modifications to the pattern because you can probably see here the arms, as I was trying to stitch and like bring them together, started pushing out. They feel like they are attached. It's just not pretty, and I'm not sure how attached they actually are, like internally. But yeah, so we've stitched up the body, and I've stuffed it. I can't do that with 2 hands because I'm holding the mic instead of wearing it. It's pretty solid, and it's got like a good he's not a thick bear, but he, she, it, you know, it's got some good volume. So just stitching the head up, and you can probably see it from here actually, got an issue. I'm going to focus. The ear has decided, so I think we got okay on the arms. I think the arms did grab. The ears, I could tell both of them have pushed out, causing them not to get grabbed by the stitching. So I think the arms are in. I'm not going to pull the arms because I don't want to find out, because I'm not unstitching that much. So I've got to basically, I'll try and tear the contact cement apart, run a knife down this stitch, stick the ears back on deeper, so the ears will be slightly smaller, but they should get caught by the stitching holes, and then re-stitch it again, and then I'll have to fill it because I've left a hole here to fill it, but obviously now. So we're done. It's all stuffed. It's all, I haven't done the edges yet. Kind of like the rough look in some. I'm really pleased with how this has come out. The head stuffing was a little difficult, so it's a bit mishmash, but it'll go into it. Ears are now securely pinned in place with stitching. Who knows about the arms? Be careful with them. But yeah, it's really nice. So I'll make a couple of modifications to the template before I upload it. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm really pleased with how this bear came out. It's super cute, and it feels really nice. I think we might make more 3-dimensional, like physical objects with leather. There's something nice and tangible about it. Like there's, you know, they're like a wallet, a watch strap. They're all nice, but this is like nice, different. Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that gumph, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.